These flat screen games are considered dumpster fires according to critics, and gamers just like you and me alike. Well, in this Just VR gaming feature, Uncle Integer is going to show you 10 of some of the most polarizing or simply poorly rated games that would go from terrible to terrific if they were only made into VR. And if you want to help the algorithm and me make more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe, like, so that it can be pulled to more people just like you. Helps tremendously and I appreciate it. Alright, enough early CTA, let's do it now! Attempting to please or cater to all preferences might end up pleasing none, said Wired about Resident Evil 6, one of the most polarizing Resident Evils, described as trying to be 4 games all at once: corridor survival horror, Gears of War military shooter, melee chase sequencer, and stealth puzzle side campaigner, all thrown in with quick time event spam, unlimited ammo drops, and very limited tension. This one will be a great candidate for VR because you could turn all that access, non-horror John Woo nonsense into an actual John Wick VR horror hybrid experience, where the quick time events will be less annoying as they'll be quick move events. Dual wielding Kimbo style will be easy, and in many ways other Resident Evil VR entries are proof that this series works well in VR. Now, are you one of those people that actually loved Resident Evil 6? If you were, feel free to unsubscribe now. No, I'm joking. Let us know in the comments and let me know if you think this would be a great candidate for VR. One of the worst games of all time, 1 out of 10, GameSpot. It can only be one game, a game that even offends hell itself. Ride to Hell, Retribution, featuring empty highways, quick-time event-based bike combat, PlayStation 2 textures, and the infamous fully clothed sex scenes, according to my research assistant here, widely ranked among the worst games ever made. Can this be salvaged in VR? Well, think about it. Imagine a Road Rash style VR brawler, one-to-one handlebars with your actual motion controllers, physics-based chain swings and whips vibrating through your motion control haptics, engine rumble in your haptics, and even better if you get one of those VR chest rig things, right? Now, to be honest with you, almost anything would make this game better as long as it's not the game itself. But it does make you think, if not Ride to Hell, is there? And if there isn't, and I don't believe there is, why haven't we had a Road Rash VR already? That'd be really cool. Also, it's totally realistic to have sex with all your clothes on, just like real life. I just use my mind consensually with the ladies. Easy. Wouldn't even be a good game if the controls worked properly, said Giant Bomb about our next one here. Steel Battalion, heavy armor. Features included Kinect gesture tracking that missed 50% or more of the time of inputs, and when they did work, missions were simple 30-second slogs with brain-dead AI. So how the heck does this one work in being better if it were in VR? Well, we've had a few mech type VR things that are kind of proof of concept here, but just imagine for a moment, imagine actually being inside a diesel punk VT cockpit with reliable motion controls for every lever, periscope, and self-destruct handle. With VR's modern controls and accuracy of input, this would be now perfected as long as they actually had non-brain dead AI, of course, and missions that weren't just 30-second slogs with said dead AI. But otherwise, there's been a few mech experiences in VR, especially you having that cockpit around you. Keep saying cockpit. There you go. That's going to help the auto captions of YouTube. Oh boy. But yeah, what do you guys think? This one will be perfect for a VR upgrade, I think. Certainly will be anything better than what was going on originally with the Kinect. Whew, man. Hey, so if you've got 3 seconds and don't want this video to suffer the same fate as some of these games, then if you haven't already, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It's completely free and you can change your mind anytime. And hit the like if you like the video as well, because then it helps to spread and grow the community of people just like you and me making naughty videos just like this. I appreciate you. You can now continue your normal viewing. A shallow bit of sci-fi fluff with cheap production values, said GameSpot, and that's just putting it lightly when you're talking about Aliens, Colonial Marines, a game that I played with a buddy. We paid full price for it, and boy, did we pay for it. Oh my god, this one was rough, very, very painful. Features included 6-year dev hell, outsourced assets, a 1-character AI typo that broke Xenomorph's brains, and a lawsuit over downgraded demos. I swear to this day I don't think that Gearbox are capable of making anything that anyone cares about other than Borderlands at this point. So how would this be better in VR? Well, we've had Rogue Incursion, which is a good one, depending on the platform you play it on, I believe, actually, to be fair. But much like that game, imagine co-op survival VR with the proximity tracker, audio, which is excellent in Rogue Incursion, to be fair, dual wielding mechanics, and flashlight panic, among many of the other movie-like mechanics that could be included in VR. That is is actually in Rogue Incursion. So I suppose it's kind of been done, but it doesn't have the co-op survival element part. And the AI is a bit obvious in how that spawns in that game. So it's not perfect, but it does give a glimpse into what it could be as a survival VR experience. But yeah, a personal one for me that I'll always remember, because that's kind of how I found the very hilarious review from Angry Joe on Cornwall Marines that you should definitely check out. It's very funny, but not for under 18s though, eh? Shh. A spectacular disaster. A full-scale catastrophic failure. PC Gamer reviewing The Quiet Man, a game that features a first playthrough that is totally silent. No voiceover, no subtitles, no sound effects, incoherent FMV, story, and button mashing brawling. Oh boy, Integer, how are you going to swing this one as a good VR candidate? The VR twist here would be, well, for Metacritic's worst game of the year, maybe the spatial audio, but when you physically touch an NPC. Sign language prompts via haptics would be an interesting idea as well. And obviously with the motion controllers, you could do aspects like touch as a mechanic. And you can do lots of virtual vistas or kind of things that look a bit like seeing through the eyes of someone impaired, as opposed to trying to do that with just a flat screen, where the idea could maybe shine actually pretty well through VR. There's a lot of things they could do with the technology now, maybe even using aspects of pass-through, mixed reality and so on. So I think this game would actually be realized much less better in VR. What do you guys think? One of the worst games of the year, said way too many games, in regards to Agony, and it caused a lot of people agony. Featuring hellscapes that looked awesome in the trailers, but shipped with maze-like levels, insta-kill, stealth, and endless amounts of hellish bugs. So how does this one swing into a better experience as VR? Maybe by condensing it into a 90-minute Hell Tour VR gauntlet, gesture-based demon possession, volumetric fire, and rumble when the flames lick your visor. Should be perfect for a PlayStation VR 2 in that scenario. Maybe using things like also the eye tracking as well, since there's lots of visual things that you will want to look at but shouldn't. So I think all of those things combined, along with the many other things that the technology affords us now, maybe even using mixed reality again to kind of almost create connections to the real world to add to the atmosphere. This could have been way less agonizing and way more immersive to match the visuals that did originally look awesome for this controversial gore porn that created nothing but agony for many players and critics alike. A bad, boring, bargain bin kind of game. GameSpot, Duke Nukem Forever, a game that took 15 years in the making, birthing a shooter with 40-second load times, linear corridors, and humor that aged like off milk. And we had a few shooters in VR, so this is probably an easier sell in a way. I suppose the biggest challenge would be actually making it funny, other than how long it took to make. And it's another hit from Gearbox software that isn't Borderlands. Go figure. So with VR, we'll be leading into the hands-on frat house sandbox by allowing you to grab, and my research says, and slam pig cops. Is that a thing? Pig cops? Shotgun pump action, bear cam physics. So basically almost turning it into Postal, which ironically, I think is having a VR game being made. Yeah. So maybe that's proof of concept there. That's how you would make Duke Nukem Forever a classic rather than forever a unfunny pain. Never actually played it, so is it actually good or is it really foreverly bad? And can it be made better in VR? Did you know that up to 80% of all views on a video are people who aren't subscribed or have never seen the video before? That's crazy, right? So let's change that trend by subscribing to the channel for completely free, as well as liking the video so I can make more videos like this for you, faster, stronger, with less memeage, or maybe more memeage. I don't know. Just do the things. I appreciate you. And now again, we can continue with your normal broadcasting pictures. A $60 tech demo, Tech Raptor. Talking about The Order 1886, not 1996 by the way, featuring a photorealistic steampunk London lasting 5 hours, featuring heavy QuickTime event chains, zero replay, and of course the $60 price tag, giving it the classic line, pretty much a pretty tech demo. Now a lot of this changes for this game because it's not unusual now for games to be sold at $60 or near the equivalent and only last for a few hours. So this would actually be acceptable now, although I prefer $1 to at least $2 per hour of gaming personally for the most part. But how would we reimagine this in VR? Well, we'd probably reframe it as a 2-hour VR graphic novel with full hand Lycan shootouts and panorama sightseeing, and we adjust the price as well. But with that plus the haptics and different things like that, it would make it more fitting and it would set the expectations right for the kind of experience that it was going for at the time. That obviously was well ahead of its time in terms of still being able to create the gameplay part of what is effectively a very ahead of its time, nice looking tech demo. Heck, maybe we'd even go as far as actually adding gameplay. With now's technology, could we get away with it? What do you think? Would it be better in VR? And was it just a tech demo? I've never played it yet. Is playing it the wrong word? The ad changed everything. A PR disaster for the ages. PC Gamer talking about John Romero making you his bitch. Well, actually, that wasn't his that wasn't his doing, but marketing that was done on his behalf that ended up biting him in his half, or his ass in this case, I guess. Daikatana, or is it Daikakatana? I think it's Daikatana. Featuring delays, broken AI sidekicks, and the legendary ad, John Romero's about to make you his bitch. I might have to beat these out for like future monetization stuff. Anyway, believe it or not, this game is actually a pretty good game if you patch it, apparently. So just, get that out there in front. How would it be better in VR? Well, it kind of fits in the line again with other VR first-person shooters that do exist already. But one angle we could take with it is room-scale swordplay, finally letting Daikatana have the Daikatana matter. Is a Daikatana a weapon? I guess it is. I'm going to trust my research assistant here. Add real co-op players to replace the escort AIs, although they probably could just code some good ones these days. And obviously, with any melee and so forth, would be a lot better with the motion controls. And the VR environments itself would add to the immersion of the experience. So in this case, this is a game that's already made better by the community patches that fix it effectively. But VR certainly wouldn't hurt it, especially if they add some RTX ray tracing to it or something as well. I don't know, what do you think? Did you actually ever play Daikatana patched, and do you think it would make a great VR experience, made even better combined with said patches, or with human escort partners instead of the AI ones? Let us know. Probably the worst game I've ever played. Computer and Video Games said about Jurassic Park Trespasser, featuring one of the most realistic, respectful and best health systems in a video game that was clearly ahead of its time. This game featured ahead of its time physics, but the rubber arm interface made basic tasks agony, in addition to being shipped buggy, empty and slow. Yeah, that whole broken arm thing was pretty scary, to be fair. So how is this one made better in VR? Well, naturally, VR gives you natural hands, making the sandbox finally full of fun and naturalness, since the physics are pretty much handmade for the modernity of VR experiences that we're already used to. You'd also have benefits of life-size dinosaurs, which would equal instant wow factor, as the Jurassic Park VR game already proves. And you could really look at your health properly. I mean, really, really closely, really close. So it's time to let me know, what did you think of this list? Is there any games you'd put in this list that would be great for VR that are terrible? And other than that, I thank you for subscribing and liking, as I said about 15 times already. And on the screen is more video just like this that you're enjoying. Either I've selected it for you or the algorithm has selected it, in which case YouTube might be a genius. That's if you're watching on YouTube, of course.